This is Charles Barjon. You're in the studio with Studio 771. I'm here with a good friend of mine, Desmonte.
Oh my god, hey.
And today we're going to do something different. So welcome to the first episode of Studio 771 Interviews. And this is a new form I want to create so where we can give the student body of Southern University a voice. And for this next series we're working on, I'm going to be highlighting homophobia because I feel strongly that our school and our student government do not do enough to prevent homophobia, and they do not do enough to respond to homophobia on campus. So today, we're going to talk to Desmonte about his experiences, his life story, his everything, and we're going to get down to the bottom of this. So, if you want to introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Desmonte Scott, sophomore animal science major from Louisiana. I'm a proud gay black man, and I'm just here to be a voice and an inspiration.
That's great. that's great. Let's get what's this? No, this is clap. Yeah, clap. There you go. I'm gonna learn my soundboard one day. I'm gonna learn it one day. But let's just get right into it. So we're gonna start off with pretty much your testimony. I wanna get a good understanding about how you came into the community and why, and you know what I mean? Because I feel like, and it's also very important to say that I'm ignorant. Let me say that now on this podcast.
And
I'm ignorant.
Think that's a bad word too.
Yeah, because I'm very ignorant to your struggle. Because we're different. Come from two different worlds, two different perspectives. So before I say anything stupid on this podcast, please note I'm very ignorant, and if I say anything offensive, please check me right then and there, so that not only myself but people listening now understand and have a better overstanding of this reality. Right. So. Go ahead. Let's. So, when would you say the thought of you possibly being gay came across your mind?
Well, being gay, a lot of people think it's a choice, but it's really not a choice. Because if we had to choose living this lifestyle and live another lifestyle, it would probably be another lifestyle because it's very hard. You have to be strong-minded. You have to not let people's opinions affect you. And so, growing up, you didn't really have a lot of gay, like, people in the community, like, role models on TV and the media and stuff like that. And if they wasn't there long enough to give an inspiration, you know?
I feel what you're saying. It's kind of like how, for example, for young black boys, 2008 was very prolific. You had Barack Obama. And he was a part of our childhoods from, like, second grade until, like, a sophomore year of our high school experience. And if I'm going to, as I try to relate, you don't, especially because nowadays I'd say there probably are like figureheads now to where little kids or people who feel that way they can look up. But back then, like in the 2000s, early 2000s, there really wasn't
like
anybody
like Billy Porter, and there wasn't like shows like Pose and stuff like that. And those shows, even though like I'm grown in age, but those shows really, really, really do help. Indeed.
So now, I want to go back a little bit, or I don't like saying back. We're going to go forward, but we're going to go forward back. You know what I mean? To when you said it's not really a choice, because I feel a lot of people have this idea that, like, you wake up one day, March 2nd, today's the day I'm going to be gay. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And a lot of people, from my observation, have this opinion that it's really, like you said, a choice. And I wanted to make it clear on podcasts so people can understand that, when it's kind of like you're going against somebody's nature, somebody's human nature. It's kind of like that Michael Jackson song, tell him that it's human. You know what I mean?
Why?
Because what exactly is the point of being hateful to somebody for something that's just them?
That still doesn't really click to me, because we are still discriminated off of people who we like.
That's true.
Why is that a thing?
That's very true. And I want to... Well, let me stick to the agenda, because that's like a whole different episode. Because I was about to go deep real quick.
This
so
is
now,
a deep topic.
Yeah, because it's multifaceted. Really, it's like so many different angles and directions. Because you have people who are just overtly against it, right? People who are just hateful. Then you have the allies,
right?
And then you have people who are like for it, but are like, yeah, but I don't want to be around.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And then you have like the religious people who are like, well, I see you as an equal, but at the same time, due to my practices, I'm sorry, type people. So, but I'm going to get into that later, because that's like, that's big.
But I say it's still
Because now you're dealing with people's perspectives. Because it really all comes down to perspective. Because what if you have a hateful dude, but I don't know why? So that's a whole different conversation.
It's a lot of whole different like perspectives and ways of life coming at you at one time. And I feel as if you were chosen to live this lifestyle by whoever you believe in. Indeed. And I was always told that God give his toughest battles to his strongest soldiers.
True.
And so we are very strong. We just need to learn how to band together. That's where we mess up.
I say that's probably the downfall. That's why I wanted to bring up too. It's kind of like a new. I wouldn't even say new because it ain't new. It's been around for centuries. I'd say it's like a minority community that isn't really a minority community that's like noticed or recognized as a community. Exactly. You know what I mean? It's more. I feel like it's more of a pop culture. Like they make it. Not they. The society makes it seem like it's a pop culture trend. You know what I mean? And it's kind of like...
In reality, we were an endangered species.
Exactly. It's
kind
of...
being gay and black.
Yo, let's talk about that, actually. Because we're at an HBCU. And for those of you who are listening, HBCU is a historically black college and university. So being at a very, very, very black-focused area, black-centric facility, you know what I mean? Or not even at our school, but just within the black community in general, how is being gay received? Like when you first came out to your family, how exactly was that received?
I had people that was just like, oh, we knew already. We were just waiting on you to say something.
Yeah.
And we had people that was just like, oh, maybe it's just a phase, or maybe you'll grow out of it. You just got to go to church more and stuff like that. But you got to learn to block those
people out.
And people as well. You got to learn to block that stuff out. And we also had people to just, accept. And we love to see it. But
you love to see it.
We love to see it. We love this.
And how would you say overall that those two different... So, like, how would you say... the people on one end who are like, oh, we already knew, and made you feel, versus the people who are like, oh, it's probably just a phase. You'll grow out of that.
I was about to say, with the people that I already knew, I was just kind of like, I thought I was hiding it very well. But with the other people, it's just, like I said, you just learn to block them out. And when you block them out, sometimes it's immediate family. You learn to block them out. It makes it easier to block anything else out down the road. And it makes you wiser. And it makes you...
I get that.
It just makes you stronger.
I feel you, because what doesn't kill you...
It makes you stronger. In the words of Kelly Clarkson.
I'm saying. I always forget she says that. I'd be like walking around school like, what doesn't kill me, like I take a math test. Like, man, I may have got a D on that, but yo,
it made me stronger.
I'm passing.
Right. Exactly.
It's a new experience. You know what I mean?
We love Kelly Clarkson.
Right. So now we kind of got to where, and we've talked about, your testimony when you came out, and well, actually, let's put a date to that. When did you come out?
I came out fall of my freshman year.
Well, so of college, university. All right. So not too long ago, really.
Right.
Think about it.
Exactly. I've been living a lie 18 years of my life. And I'm here.
You're free at last?
Free at last. Thank God Almighty. Free at last.
And how would you say that, so, school-wise, what's the difference between being, well, I wouldn't say being, because you weren't, but being a straight black man at a school, surrounded by peers, versus being a gay black man at school, surrounded by peers?
Well, I can't really speak from the straight perspective, because I was never that.
True, but, or how about, let me rephrase that. When people view you as a straight black man versus as when people view you as a gay black man.
When those two are in comparisons, masculinity is held in the middle. So they feel as if the straight black man, he has to be, but they feel as if a black man has to be masculine any way it goes. They already feel as if they're being demasculinized. But being a gay black man, they think that's being demasculinized as well.
And would you say, on a topic of demasculization, would you say that being gay is even demasculizing you? Would you say that you you're probably more masculine than some straight dudes. Would you say?
I'm pretty sure. I'm about to say I was always raised that a man had to do this, a man had to do that, but nobody ever told me a man could be gay, and so that's why I hid myself for so long. But now that I know for a fact that a man can be strong, a man can be independent, a man can be black and gay, I'm a superhero now.
So would you say? How am I gonna phrase this? You know what I mean? I gotta like sit back and like stroke my imaginary beard. You know what I mean? It's like, cause it's like I was telling you before we came here to record to the listeners, we sat down, we kind of planned this out, we kind of brainstormed a little bit, and I was telling you how I really didn't want to go into history and how people feel that the masculine and not even the masculine, how gayness comes from the Black American experience through slavery. And I got two different thoughts on that. The first one is, y'all ignorant. You know, homosexuality has been around for centuries.
Forever.
It's been around. And number two, my other thought is like, all right, we know that white plantation owners would purposely do things in front of black women and black children to mess up the family of the black family. But would you say that practice of emasculization, I'm using like air quotes in person, y'all, emasculization, would you say that process is even what we're making it out to be today? Or would you say that's more of a, yeah, we still feel the long-lasting effects because the black family to this day is still disrupted, but I feel like people are blaming that on gayness, if that's even a term, gayness.
I was about to say, in all honesty, how can we say this as much? Let's see.
Because it's like one of those deeply rooted yet should be uprooted. You know what I mean? Because I feel like the conversation is being turned away from what it really is. You know what I mean? Because emasculation, you know, they use examples of when white plantation owners would put devices into black men, or when they would, you know, beat the black man in front of the woman. So not necessarily stereotypical gay actions. Right. You know, they would break the physical body and the mental psyche of the black man in front of the family, and that's what contributed towards the breaking of the black family. But many people today are only saying, oh no, it's only because the plantation owners had relations with, you know what I mean? So I feel like, in my own perspective and opinion as a straight man, till we're clear, I gotta make sure. I'm trying to avoid all, like,
I was about to say, take your time.
You dig me? So it's kind of like, I feel like people today in this society we're in, because we're in such a, you know, he did this, she did that, point my finger at you, you point your finger at me, everybody has their own opinion, and everybody believes their opinion has to be right for some reason. When we forget they're just opinions. So when we get back down to the fact of the matter, you can't really blame, in my opinion, again, air quotes, gayness on the emasculation of the black family, or just the breaking of the black community. Because a lot of people, I feel like, hold that belief toward them, like, in their core. To where they feel like when they see a gay black man, they're like, oh my God, like, how dare you still be practicing something that's, you know what I mean?
It's crazy, because at the end of the day, people expect us. People expect to voice their opinions, and everyone wants to scream out freedom of speech, freedom of speech. We can say what we want. You can say what you want, but don't push that down nobody's throat.
That's also true.
You don't have to push your mindset onto someone and expect them to take your advice. That's not going to happen.
And also, would you agree that that's one of those two-way roads type things, where they'll say, well, we have freedom of speech, we got freedom of this, freedom of that, but when it comes to your community, it's like, you don't have that.
I don't have any of that? Why?
Because it's kind of like what you just said with the whole, don't force it down someone's throat.
Exactly.
They'll tell you that. But when it comes to their belief, and they're telling you, like, you must be straight, you must be, you know what I mean? Isn't that not the same thing? Like, people are being hypocrites.
A lot of people are hypocrites.
Indeed. Like, indeed.
A lot of people.
Like,
a lot of people are hypocrites.
I'm saying. And if we're going to progress this conversation, I think it's important that we determine what is homophobia. So, if you're going to have your own definition, what would you say homophobia is?
Well, homophobia, I don't even remember when this word came about, but to my knowledge, phobia is a fear of something.
Indeed.
Exactly. Okay, so how does homophobia even play a part in the fear of